Guys, Australia is in a crisis, and I mean serious crisis. Just listen to this.
More evidence this morning of the critical staff shortages facing our aged care homes, with 2 more facilities in rural New South Wales forced to close. What has led to this decision to shut down those facilities?
The aged care crisis, the aged care is in crisis. Aged care industry is in crisis. The fact of the matter is, it's starkly true. As a registered nurse myself, who's worked in the industry for over 30 years, I've never seen it in such dire circumstances. We are suffering from severe workforce shortages, and we cannot, hand on heart, continue to operate these facilities in the state they are. We need to provide quality care. We want to provide consistent quality care, and without the staff, we cannot do that.
So where
Our aged care sector is heading towards disaster. That's according to a brand new report. Staff are leaving the industry in droves, unable to be replaced, and leaving a huge shortfall in care for some of our most vulnerable. Plus, the situation is only getting worse.
Kate and Neat has resigned, leaving the nursing home they've worked at for 2 years with a heavy heart.
I won't ever stop thinking about the residents and the conditions that they're forced to live with.
Because of understaffing, the 24-year-old got hurt last week while rushing to clean rooms.
I can't do this anymore, you know? It takes a toll, and it's finally gotten to me.
Between poor conditions and low migration, aged care is now heading towards worst-case scenario. The enormity of the crisis laid bare in a new report by CEDA revealing 65,000 people are leaving the sector each year and not enough are being recruited, so there's still an annual shortfall of 35,000 staff. That number's doubled in less than a year and isn't enough to offer elderly residents the care they deserve.
The aged care sector warns 50 homes will close this year.
And actually some people are dying while they're waiting for the right level of care and right package.
Unemployment at a record low at the moment. There's close to 500,000 jobs around the country waiting to be filled. Well, the aged care sector is another one that's been particularly hard hit by the labour shortage. According to a new report, the industry urgently needs 35,000 staff. Incredibly, 18,000 workers have left aged care jobs since August last year.
As you can see from the short clips that I've shared with you, Australia is in dire need of workers to come and alleviate the problem in the healthcare industry. To alleviate this crisis, Australia has opened its borders to overseas candidates, which means people can now apply to go and work as care assistants in Australia, and this pathway leads to permanent residence. Of course, it's not a direct pathway to permanent residence, but in just 2 years, you can be a resident of Australia. There is a new aged care industry labour agreement, and this agreement will enable nursing support workers, personal care assistants, as well as aged care or disabled carers to relocate to go and work in Australia, which means people under this category have been added to the shortage occupation list of Australia, or the temporary skill shortage as they call it in Australia. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all the details or all the information you need to know about this labour agreement and the eligibility criteria for you to become a healthcare assistant in Australia. And trust me guys, it is not a difficult process. It is easy peasy lemon squeezy because the requirements are very minimum. So guys, if you're new to my channel, my name is Pauline Popomoyo, and in this channel we keep things real. And if you're interested in relocating to overseas, do smash that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss any of my videos, because I constantly drop videos on how you can relocate to overseas. So without wasting any of your time, let's get into it. I'm a savage. So guys, for example, here in UK, if you want to sponsor people from overseas, or if you want to sponsor healthcare workers from overseas, you are supposed to be a licensed sponsor. So Australia has something similar to that, whereby employers have to enter a memorandum of understanding with the relevant union. So the examples of these unions are Australian Nursing and Midwifery Federation, Health Services Union or United Workers Union. So once the Memorandum of Understanding is established, the aged care providers can now submit the labour agreement request to the Department of Home Affairs. And there are certain terms and concessions that they need to meet for them to be able to hire from overseas. And the following are the aged care industry labour agreement terms and concessions. So number one is the 2-year pathway to permanent residency, and this is through the employer nomination scheme subclass 186, which means you can work for 2 years under the temporary skills shortage visa 482, and then after 2 years you cannot become a permanent resident of Australia under the employer nomination skills subclass 186. Number two, streamlined visa nomination and priority visa application, which means if you are going to apply for these care jobs in Australia, guys, this is going to be a fast-track visa route. Your application is going to be given priority, which means this is a fast-track visa route to Australia. So they process this very fast as possible. So guys, this is exciting news because this is going to be a fast track visa route to Australia. You are not going to take years and years for you to be able to relocate to Australia. So why not think about relocating to Australia? I know you want to know what the requirements are. Do stay tuned to the very end and I'll let you know what the requirements are. For now, let's move on to number 3. And guys, you are definitely going to love number 3 because it says no post-qualification work experience requirement, which means they do not require you to have 2 years experience, 3 years experience, or whatever, because previously they needed you to have at least 2 years experience for you to be able to work as a care worker in Australia. But this has been scrapped out, which means, guys, if you have your relevant qualifications, you do not necessarily have to have experience. You can apply to go and work in Australia. But there's a catch to that, so do stay tuned so that you find out more what I mean about that. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is English language concessions for relevant community language skills. But I'm going to talk about the English requirements when I'm now talking about the eligibility criteria. For now, let's move on to number 5. And number 5 is about the salary requirements. For you to be able to work as an aged carer, they've reduced the salary. Initially, it was around 70,000 Australian dollars. But to enable them to hire people from overseas, they've reduced the salary to at least 51,222 Australian dollars, which is a substantial amount of money, guys, because it's equivalent to around 27,000 pounds per annum here in the UK. So who wouldn't want to go and work as a care assistant and earn 27,000 pounds per annum? I'm sure if you're a care assistant, you wouldn't mind earning a good 27,000 plus pounds per annum. 27,000 pounds is a substantial amount of money if you use it wisely. So now let us move to the requirements. And before we move to the requirements, guys, may you smash that like button. It's free, and also subscribe to my channel. It's also free. Just smash that button which is still red on your screen and it's written subscribe. It's free, and thank you so much for subscribing, guys. Now let us move to the requirements. So for you to be able to work as a care assistant in Australia, you need to have an AQF certificate level 3, something equivalent or even higher, which means you have to have your documents evaluated so that you see whether they are equivalent to AQF level 3. Or if you have a diploma, let's say maybe you have a diploma in nursing, let's say maybe you're a nurse and you don't mind going to Australia to work as a aged care worker. And you know what, guys? If you are a nurse, let's say maybe you've tried to write your IELTS to come to relocate to UK and you're not able to pass your IELTS. Guys, you can use this route as a stepping stone. Remember, it is difficult to penetrate Australia because they require you to have a degree, and if you don't have a degree, you cannot become a nurse in Australia. They require you to have degrees. But you can use this aged care worker visa route as a stepping stone to Australia. And then it is never too late, whether you want to start your degree or you want to do a top-up degree in Australia. It is never too late for you to do your degree whenever you're there in Australia and become a nurse. And who knows, maybe when you go to Australia and you work as an aged care worker, you might even like it and not even decide to become a nurse in Australia. So just use it as a stepping stone. I know there are a lot of people out there with diplomas in nursing I know there are a whole lot of people, they are still stuck waiting for the decision later, or there are people who have failed their IELTS over and over again and they're not able to meet the IELTS requirements, maybe for UK, or the IELTS requirements for whatever country. The requirements for IELTS are very low in Australia, and I'll be sharing them with you shortly. And you might ask, Popo, what if I don't have the AQF level 3 certificate or an equivalent certificate? There's some exciting news, guys. Even if you don't have that certificate, you can relocate to go and work in Australia as long as you have 12 months or 1 year of relevant experience. Isn't that exciting, guys? Even if you don't have the AQF level 3, as long as you have 12 months. So which means ideally they don't want you to have post-qualification experience, but if you don't have the AQF level 3, if you have at least 1 year post-qualification experience in a relevant field, let's say maybe you are a primary care nurse, or you've got NVQ2 level 2, or you've got diploma with Allison or whatever, as long as you have your 1 year of relevant experience and they approve that, you can become an aged care worker in Australia. Simple as that, guys. And not only that, even if you have part-time equivalence, part-time, if you're working part-time, whether you're volunteering or whatever, you're working part-time as a healthcare assistant, as long as it is equivalent to that 1 year experience that they need, they can also hire you from overseas. So do not stress about, oh, I don't have AQF, what. If you have that 1 year experience, whether a primary care nurse, certified nursing assistant, whatever, you can apply as long as you can provide that evidence. So if you are overseas, of which I know most of us are overseas, you must obtain a positive skills assessment from Australia. You can use Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation or Australian Workers Association to have your degrees or to have your diplomas or whatever evaluated. This also applies if you claim 1 year experience. You also need to have that validated by these councils. So it's simple and straightforward, guys. You just have to have your diploma or your certificate or whatever you have evaluated by these councils. And if they approve, guys, it's time for you to apply for a job and move to Australia. Simple as that. So what are the English requirements? You only need an IELTS band score of 5. Just 5, guys, for you to become a healthcare assistant in Australia. Of course, there are exceptions where they need you to have an IELTS band score of 4.5 depending on where you go and work. So if you go and work for culturally and linguistically diverse care providers, you just need an IELTS band score of 4.5. But for us to be on the safe side, guys, you are better off having an IELTS band score of 5 in all categories, be it speaking, listening, reading and writing. You have to score 5 in each category, and it is not difficult to score 5 in each category, guys. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So now, guys, you can apply to these Australian jobs, but you need to apply to a company which, just like in UK, which is approved to sponsor. So many companies are currently undergoing the process, and obviously if they start posting jobs, of which some of them have already started posting jobs, we'll definitely come and share with you so that you apply and you go and work in Australia as a healthcare assistant or as an aged care worker. So guys, this is all that I wanted to share with you. May you kindly smash that like button and share this video with those who are interested in relocating to overseas, specifically those who are interested in relocating to Australia. And if they start rolling out some jobs, definitely will come and share with you. And thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, do drop them in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye.